appears if she wants to run for supervisor again, it will have to be as a write-in.
Dolton's Mayor Tiffany Henyard, frequently referred to as the super mayor, Illinois has become a hot spot for controversy and is mired in a protracted legal struggle. Political unrest and financial scandals that have plagued her neighborhood and garnered international attention, from her controversial handling of a recent tumultuous caucus to charges of financial mismanagement that have left Dolton reeling. Henyard's leadership, which was first characterized by audacious pledges and high-profile initiatives, has turned into a show of claims. Although the current caucus backlash has increased the attention surrounding her, her term has been characterized by divisive decisions, heated public discussions, and a steadfast reluctance to back down. She stormed out, accusing State Senator Napoleon Harris of orchestrating an illegal process, vowing legal action, and accusing her critics of voter suppression, further dividing an already fractured political landscape. At the same time, Henyard has come under increasing fire for her financial decisions, including claims of extravagant spending and misappropriation of public funds. This marked yet another chapter in her turbulent career, as she was excluded from the ballot due to alleged rule violations. Residents of Dolton, many of whom reside on Modest, are incensed at tales of a $43,000 Amazon shopping spree, exorbitant travel costs, and mysterious purchases made with the village credit card. Earnings and battle with restricted access to government assistance, many have questioned her priorities and fiscal stewardship after learning from a special investigation conducted by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot that, in just 2 years under Henyard's leadership, the general fund of the city fell from a surplus of $5 million to a deficit exceeding $3 million. Meanwhile, an ongoing FBI investigation hangs over Henyard's administration, adding to the tension and uncertainty surrounding her future. Despite the accusations and mounting pressure, Henyard has not shown any signs of resigning or acknowledging responsibility. Shag has intensified her rhetoric and is attacking her detractors on social media, labeling them, portraying oneself as a victim of political sabotage, and being adversaries of advancement. As Dolton struggles with the fallout from Henyard's turbulent leadership, it is unclear whether her defiance will result in a political comeback or deeper problems for the town. Her combative approach has alienated many in her community and political sphere while solidifying her base of devoted supporters who see her as a determined and misunderstood leader. It is evident that her career has devolved into a dramatic show that has left chaos in its wake and made Dolton the center of political intrigue.
Our first WGN Investigates report on questionable spending by South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard. It appears she has been forced on.
The recent Democratic caucus for Thoron Township was supposed to be a routine political process, but it quickly descended into a full-fledged political circus centered around the troubled figure of Tiffany Henyard, who is currently the supervisor of Thoron Township and the mayor of Dolton. Henyard wants to maintain her position in the township, but her ambitions suffered a major setback when her name was left off the ballot. This was because her campaign did not meet the requirements for a full slate of candidates, a crucial element for any campaign for a town supervisor under state laws. This error allowed Illinois State Senator Napoleon Harris, who is also the township Democratic committeeman, to take over and win the nomination for himself. This shocked many people and marked a dramatic change from what Henyard probably expected would be a simple process to keep her hold on local power. The caucus, which was intended to be a procedural event, swiftly turned into a contentious spectacle in which Henyard supporters and detractors argued over the implications of her exclusion for her critics. This was just another instance of what they saw as a pattern of poor management in her, claiming that she had failed to meet basic campaign criteria were indicative of her more general shortcomings as a leader. However, supporters criticized the decision as being politically driven, claiming that Harris and other Democratic leaders were planning a premeditated campaign to force Henyard out of township politics. The caucus fallout illustrates the sharply divided political climate in Thoron Township, where Henyard's audacious and contentious leadership style has made her a lightning rod for criticism among her opponents, as well as a beloved figure among her supporters. Henyard, who is renowned for her perseverance, has not publicly acknowledged her loss, which has fueled rumors about her potential next move and challenge to the caucus outcomes or look for another way to hold on to power. But Harris's successful nomination has made him a major figure in the township's future, suggesting a possible change in its political dynamics. As the dust settles, all eyes will be on Henyard and Harris as they each attempt to determine the direction of the township against a backdrop of intense scrutiny and public interest. This dramatic turn of events highlights the high-stakes nature of local politics in Thuron Township, where alliances are ephemeral and every mistake can have far-reaching consequences.
Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who was appointed to that position tonight, lost her bid for the Democratic Party's nomination in this.
In the midst of an already chaotic scene, Tiffany Henyard did not take her defeat at the recent Thuron Township Democratic caucus lightly. She stormed out of the event, accusing Illinois State Senator Napoleon Harris of running an illegal process and threatening to sue everyone involved. "You didn't run any of this the right way," she yelled, her frustration boiling over. Harris, however, disputed her claims, claiming that the caucus followed the rules and that people in Thuron Township might be unfamiliar with caucuses because they haven't had one in a long time. Harris clarified, but despite his assurances, this has been the custom in numerous other townships around the state. Henyard's supporters were furious, claiming that the procedure was rigged in Harris' favor and that his team had filled the room with their own backers, while preventing Henyard's supporters from taking part by leaving them standing outside in the cold. Some even accused Harris of suppressing the vote. When a criminal, one of Henyard's pals, claimed that hundreds of individuals were turned away and left out of the process, the debate didn't stop there. Since then, Henyard has intensified her claims, calling the caucus a scam and threatening to take legal action. Her lawyer claimed that the rules were purposefully changed to exclude her from the ballot, citing a clause that said township supervisor candidates could not run for another office at the same time as Henyard, who is also seeking re-election. According to Dalton's mayor, she was unaware of this rule until the day of the caucus, which she claims is proof that the process was unjustly biased against her. Harris's team, however, maintains that the rules were available beforehand and made public, refuting her allegations of improper behavior. The controversy surrounding the caucus is representative of Henyard's larger problems as a divisive figure in Thuron Township politics. During the past year, her tenure has been marred by accusations of extravagant spending and financial mismanagement, with detractors claiming that she has used public funds as her personal piggy bank. Her reported $443,000 Amazon buying binge in a single day was one of the most startling findings. It was an astounding amount that prompted serious concerns about her financial responsibilities. Her purported accumulation of over $100,000 is just the beginning. In travel, food costs, and other discretionary spending, frequently with little to no justification offered to her critics. Although her supporters contend that Henyard is being unfairly singled out by political rivals who are keen to see her fail, these financial scandals highlight a pattern of behavior that calls into question her leadership and portrays her as a leader who puts personal gain ahead of public service. Residents in Thuron Township must deal with the fallout from yet another chapter in Henyard's turbulent career as the caucus scandal and the continued scrutiny of her administration expose the deeply ingrained divisions and high stakes in the town's politics.
Because they can't beat me. If they could beat me, they would have went to the polls. But now when I bring the people out, you don't let them.
According to a preliminary report by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was engaged as a special investigator to look into Tiffany Henyard's financial practices, Dalton is in a catastrophic state. According to the village's Financial Health Foot's inquiry, Dalton's general fund fell from a surplus of more than $5 million to a startling loss of more than $3 million. In the investigation details a concerning pattern of dubious spending throughout the 2 years that Henyard has been in charge, with Henyard allegedly using the village credit card to make purchases at Walgreens, Target, and Wayfair, raising concerns for their lack of. Residents of Dalton, many of whom make a median annual income of only $24,000 and are already struggling to make ends meet in a town already facing economic difficulties, have become even more irate and frustrated as a result of the revelation's lack of transparency and apparent disconnect from the needs of the community. Critics contend that Henyard's spending decisions reveal a larger pattern of putting personal gain ahead of public service, citing claims of other extravagant expenditures made during her tenure. The perceived misuse of public funds has increased mistrust in local leadership and left many wondering whether hard-earned tax dollars are being allocated. Over $100,000 in travel and eating costs, along with a $43,000 Amazon shopping binge, however, supporters of Henyard have tried to defend her actions, claiming that the town's financial problems are the result of systemic issues that predate her administration and that her spending was part of efforts to modernize and improve the village. However, Lightfoot's findings seem to undermine these defenses, claiming that inadequate financial oversight and a lack of accountability have worsened the town's situation. Meanwhile, public services and infrastructure in Dolton continue to deteriorate, aggravating the frustration of residents who feel abandoned by the very leadership tasked with improving their quality of life. Budgetary difficulties during Henyard's watch. Many locals have demanded answers and accountability in response to the report, which has also prompted calls for increased openness and more checks on the use of public cash. As Dolton struggles to manage this financial crisis, the fallout from Lightfoot's probe adds to the mounting list of concerns concerning Henyard's leadership, further dividing an already split community. The question still stands as to whether its leadership can rebuild confidence and steer the economy in the right direction, or if the Henyard's administration will be seen as a warning about poor leadership and missed opportunities.
There are perception issues with it that are right to get attention. Will the court look at those perception issues? Probably not, but the voters certainly should.
Her financial troubles don't end at work. According to her landlord, she and her boyfriend are getting evicted from their rental property because they haven't paid rent since August and owe thousands in back payments. To make things worse, they allegedly changed the garage code and locks to keep the landlord out. This is the same Henyard who receives a combined salary of almost $300,000 from her positions as mayor and township supervisor. If she can't even pay her rent, how can she be trusted to handle millions of taxpayer dollars? Henyard's financial difficulties are not limited to her personal life. They have also affected her governance of Dolton and Thornton Township, leaving people to cope with the fallout for months. Trustees have expressed worries about unpaid invoices, including past due payments for essential services for Township's Henyard recently proposed slashing the salary for her successor as Thornton Township supervisor to just $25,000 and max, down from the $200,000 she currently makes. This move, described by trustees as a blatant attempt to discourage qualified candidates, has sparked outrage. One major issue is the township's insurance, which has reportedly lapsed due to non-payment. Without insurance, residents are left vulnerable as essential services like bus programs for seniors and liability coverage for township properties are in limbo. Henyard blames the trustees for obstructing her attempts to resolve these issues, but critics contend that her poor financial management started the crisis in the first place, putting her personal agenda ahead of the community's welfare, which is disrespectful to the people who deserve strong leadership. One trustee claimed that she is attempting to undermine her position for anyone who challenges her, while Henyard's ongoing legal disputes are consuming township funds at a startling rate. Residents are frustrated that their money is being used to fight battles that seem more personal than professional, and with the FBI investigation looming, some are afraid that the township may experience even greater financial strain if criminal charges are brought against Henyard or her allies. Her lawsuits against trustees and critics frequently require costly legal counsel, which is paid for by taxpayers. People were arriving on schedule, and we held a caucus that resulted in a vote for a Slater candidate. In their place despite all of this, Henyard maintains that she is the target of a smear campaign and has been taking advantage of every chance to paint herself as a misunderstood leader opposing the UP system. At a recent village board meeting, she likened herself to Donald Trump, asserting that she has been unfairly singled out due to her position. "It's like at Orham, your mayor," she said as some audience members turned away in protest, but her detractors don't believe her. In a direct statement, one user said she doesn't pay her own bills. "If you thought the sea couldn't get any messier, stop her and keep exposing her." In addition, the FBI is looking into Henyard.
It's the right way. Illegal.
According to reports, the agency has been investigating claims of financial misconduct, including the misappropriation of public funds for political vengeance. Doping business owners have accused her of using the police to search their enterprises after they refused to back her politically. Soon after refusing to give to a civic event hosted by Henyard, the proprietor of Wonder Bar claimed that his license had been canceled. Some have called her after another business owner shut down his trucking company due to similar pressure. Without the lapse after 2025, leadership is a real-life Parks and Rec scenario. But time is running out. The FBI is not the only organization looking into Henyard's activities. Her own trustees have demanded that her spending patterns be examined because they believe they are out of control. One particularly startling report found that some police officers in Dothan receive more overtime pay than their regular salaries. For instance, one officer who received a salary of $73,000 received over $100,000 in overtime compensation. Stus is just another. Tiffany Henyard's mismanagement is an example of how money that could be used to better the town is instead going toward dubious expenses. As a result, she is still in office, but her days as the supervisor of Township are numbered. Without the Democratic nomination, her only options are to run as an independent or as a right-wing candidate, but she is adamant that she will win. "I am 100% confident that I will be on the ballot," she said, adding that her legal team is already preparing a lawsuit to contest the caucus results. Residents of Dothan and Thornton Township are left to deal with the fallout. Trustees have boycotted meetings, leaving the township without insurance and putting essential services at risk. They are frustrated, saying the constant drama has turned their lives upside down. Even if she stays on the ballot, it is difficult to see how she will recover from the past year's scandals. 82% of voters know this, just like Trump did, that I will win by a landslide. Turning the government into a farce, a warning concerning the perils of unbridled power and inadequate leadership can be found in the Henyard story. According to one local, she is the reason the town lacks insurance, despite the fact that her ascent to fame may have been driven by identity politics and grandiose claims. Her actions have demonstrated that she is more concerned with protecting herself than with helping her community. Right now, the main question is whether Henyard will pay for her crimes or if she'll manage to stay in. What does power signify for Dothan and Thornton Township's future? Will the harm she has caused be repaired, or has she permanently damaged these communities? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Is Tiffany Henyard a victim of political sabotage, or is she her own worst enemy? What should locals do to make sure their voices are heard going forward? Thank you for watching, and please remember to subscribe for more updates on this developing drama.